Hey YouTube, this is Robonauts1 here, and I'm here to review Charmed Season 1, Episode 5, Dream Sorcerer. So, this episode is essentially about a serial killer who has the ability to go into other people's dreams. And with this ability, he's been going into women's dreams and killing them off. Basically, everyone who has turned him down, he's essentially killed off with this ability. And what's really interesting about this episode is the way this, the fact that this isn't just a regular demon. This is a normal human mortal, doing this. And I found that to be a really, really interesting idea, and it adds sort of the human, aspect to these type of stories. That's not all just about supernatural people. You know, human beings can access this level of ability as well, and potentially become just as bad as the demons. And I also like that a lot of it actually spoke to some of the fears that Prue Halliwell has. We got a really good sense of Prue's fears as the episode progressed. Like, she actually feared this man, and there was a sense of powerlessness to the character, which was a really, really interesting idea. We also have this subplot with Phoebe and Piper, about who casts this love spell, and this attracts loads of different guys, and Piper's left wondering, well, it's not really real. These people aren't actually in love with her. It's not organic. It's just because of a spell. And I found that really, really interesting. And I liked how mature Piper reacted to this. She obviously has a bit more experience at this love angle than Phoebe does, who is obviously a lot younger than Piper or Prue. She doesn't really know how to deal with adult relationships because, you know, at that age it's all about fun and not really thinking about long-term aspects of a relationship, or even about the consequences of these kind of relationships. So I found that to be really, really interesting, and just seeing the different dynamics of all three women. Prue obviously wanting to have a more adult and cemented relationship, and Piper really being on the cusps of that, whereas Phoebe is, again, still young and not really looking for anything long term. So again, I found that really, really interesting, and really, really interesting to look at all the different parallels between the three sisters. And also, it's sort of implied in this in this episode that Prue actually wants to tell Andy the truth about the family secret. And she's mentioned that throughout the 5 episodes, that she's struggling to want to tell him something, but being unable to tell him something at the same time. And it was just a very, very interesting situation. My only real problem with the episode, though, was with the main villain, with the Dream Sorcerer. And some of his acting wasn't really great. Like, there's a particular scene where he was not really acting and it was sort of very dry. And it didn't really feel like acting to me. Like, people from CSI act better than how he did in this episode. And it was automatically very, very clear that he was a serial killer. And if I was Andy and his sidekick, who I'm forgetting the name of, it would be very, very clear, arrest this guy, kind of thing. But it was very, very interesting to see a serial killer who's actually wheelchair bound. So I liked that angle, but didn't like some of the angle to this villain. So yeah, that's really all I have to say about this episode. Stay tuned for more Charmed reviews. Bye.